You're probably wasting a lot of time answering questions or dealing with objections on the phone. So there's a way that you can create something from these objections, from these questions, that addresses it head on, makes you look more of an authority figure, and it helps them like you and trust you more. I'm gonna show you exactly how to do that in this video. Let's get right into it. Most business owners who suck at marketing and branding compete on price, and you don't want to be that person. So earlier I was on the phone with one of my clients because I see their messages and everything come through, right? I see it all come through. And 2 different messages today said, hey, I got other quotes and you guys were like $30,000 more expensive. And I'm like, that's not good. What's going on here, right? So I called and I talked to him about it, and we realized that this is what a lot of people do, and we presented a solution that we've changed things now to make sure that we can address that head on. We don't have to grapple with them, we don't have to argue with them or justify anything, and we can do it from a spot of abundance. It makes it way more desirable. And so I want to break it down and share with you, because I hope you are not competing on price for your business. You're an expert, you're good at what you do, you should be, right? And you shouldn't compete on price. We want to work with people. I want to help you. I want to help my clients work with people who are excited to hire them, pay them on time, right? Share the hell out of their work, right? Don't ask for discounts. These are good people, right? And if you can build yourself up as an authority figure, you're solid. If you work with the people who just want the cheapest thing, they're going to destroy you. Like, they're not going to pay on time. They're going to ask for discounts. They're going to ask for revisions, and you just don't want to do that. Okay. But Douglas, how do I do that if all of my competition is undercutting the hell out of me? They suck at branding. Okay. You're going to build a strong brand so that you don't have to worry about that. And I just want to show you what we're doing to address this. Okay. So the first thing, you got to identify the problem. And for us, the problem is that these people are undercutting quite a bit. Okay. So we've got a $50,000 project, let's say, and they're saying they can do it for $30,000. And you might say, how the hell can they do that? Who cares? Who cares how the hell they can do that? They're either not making money, they're either doing something different. The problem is, it doesn't matter. It does not matter. This is your business. This is where you want to be, where you've decided this is the price. So now what we have to do is, 1, help people understand why we're at this price point. But 2, make this look like obvious red flag, right? Obviously, this sucks because it's $30,000. Like, obviously, why are you even talking to me about that? When I started my journey, like a few months in, I was talking to this coach and I told him my prices, and he was like, you're too cheap. And I was like, what do you mean? Like, I've never had that objection before, right? And he's like, I've got people pitching me 3-4 times like what you charge. And he's like, and you're good at it. And I'm like, that's interesting. He's like, so imagine you go and how much is a Rolex? And I'm like, oh, I don't know, like $5,000, $10,000. He's like, right. So imagine you buy one off Facebook Marketplace. The guy meets you in the alley and he says, yeah, $200. What are you going to think? And I'm like, something's wrong with it. And he's like, exactly. And he's like, but if that price is higher, you have just such a whole different mentality around it. Or if the price is even on par with what it should be. Okay. So as humans, we know lower prices are usually like, there's something about it. Lower quality, like less branding, whatever it may be. We know that. And so if you ever get hit with something like this, and maybe you guys are getting this objection, maybe it's something else. The point of this video is to show you how to handle these things like a G without looking desperate, okay? So obviously, this is a huge red flag. Why is it only $30,000? So what we're doing now, we have 2 lead magnets, okay? And we have 1 lead magnet. We're gonna add this second one. We have an online estimator tool. Okay. And the second thing we're going to do is an educational piece. This is going to educate them on the things to look for before building your backyard, right? Or how to avoid, I think what we called it is like the 30K contractor trap or something like that. And what we're going to do is we're using this as a way to position ourselves as the authority figure, right? And hit this rebuttal, hit this objection before it even happens. Okay, so we've got this is solid, this is bringing in leads are coming in here, and then this is bringing them down to an estimate, which is ultimately bringing us money. We're gonna reroute them up to this so that they can get educated a little bit more, and then they're less reluctant here. And that's kind of the flow that we're doing. And with this 30K trap, the purpose of it, this lead magnet, the purpose of it is to educate people on the things to look for, because, and it's not in a frame of like, hey, here's what you should do is buy our stuff. Like, it's not that. People want an expert to help them, and they're going to go with the expert that, gave them the most help. And so what we're framing this as is like, look, we've been in business for over 20 years. We've done a ton of projects. And what we're seeing right now is pissing us off, because these contractors are starting out with just a really low price. And then they're getting the homeowner locked in, they're getting the project going, they're getting their feet wet, and then they're hitting them with, oh, well, permits aren't included. Oh, well, that's for this really basic stuff. Are you sure you don't want this? Like, oh, well, actually, this is farther away. And so we're bringing those things up because most of them are true. The reason they're only $30,000, the reason they're a lot cheaper is because they're selling just such a basic bullshit package that is going to cost a lot longer in the long run. And we're going to outline that. Say, look, here's why our prices are what they are. We're good at what we do. We're fast, blah, 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 blah. And list all of that out, but do it from a position of abundance. Like, hey, we're good either way. We don't want to see you get screwed over, so let us help you. All right. And so really any kind of lead magnet that you do like that, you just want to add value. And so what we're doing with the value is we're doing like the 3 secrets to avoid the $30,000 contractor trap or something along those lines. But we're breaking it down into line items, ask for line items. Know the change order trap. And check the completion rate reputation, okay? So with this is giving them 3 things to look at. And what we're doing is we're just saying, hey, here's some things you can consider. And again, like the way I would do this one more time is this is not like specific to this problem. This could be any problem. You've got guys that are, saying they're going to finish the job way quicker, or that they're going to do something different that you don't do, or they're way cheaper, they're way faster, like whatever it is that's actually bullshit. We just want to address that so that we don't have to deal with these back and forth conversations, because what would happen here is that this poor sales guy would have this conversation all the time. It's like, yes, they're cheaper. Here's why. Here's what's going to happen. And let's just address that head on through a message, adding value, because now they're going to trust us a lot more. So we want to break this down. It's like, hey, here's the 3 secrets of avoiding this thing. Like we've talked to a lot of people. We've been in business for 20 years. We go out and we fix a lot of mistakes. We finish a lot of unfinished projects. And the reason there's all these mistakes, or the reason these projects are unfinished, is because these customers get trapped in what we call the $30,000 trap. There's a lot of contractors out there that say, hey, we can get this done for this price. They get you going, they get started, they get it dug. And then they say, oh, actually, we need to do this. We need to change this. This is different than what we thought. This is not what we talked about, blah, blah, blah. They make all of these big changes. And so the first thing you want to do, like, look, we're good. You want to work with us or not, we're totally fine. But we don't want you to fall in this trap. And so what we created is this tool for you to these are 3 questions you should ask every contractor to make sure that their quotes are actually legit. So the first thing you want to do is you want to get the line items from them. A lot of times they hide all of these big expenses in just a bundled up thing. And then you realize a lot of the essential things that you thought that you needed aren't even included in there. So here's what it should look like itemized, right? Okay, know the change order trap. The change order trap looks like this. Here's how they trap you. Here's how they get you to do this. Here's what they might say. Hey, look at their reputation. A lot of people aren't licensed, bonded, and insured, or check the Facebook groups. Here's how we check Facebook groups to see if people have abandoned projects, right? When you create something like that, you work it into your automation over here. Now, this conversation isn't even going to come up because they've already been educated on that. And there's a lot of different things in your niche, in your business that you need to educate your people on. That you need to educate your customers on. You answer the same question on the phone over and over again, and you don't want to be doing that. So when you have an objection, when you have an issue, and somebody is bringing up this objection time after time again, you don't want to say, oh yeah, well, that's because, they suck and here's why we're better. Like, you don't want to get defensive. You don't want to get aggressive. You just want to be like, yeah, no, I see that a lot. That totally makes sense. And here's why, right? And look, maybe it does end up cheaper. That's okay. That's okay. They're not licensed, bonded, and insured. They're not paying their subs on time. They're not doing all these things. And that's okay. There's money, there's ways to save money, right? And so when you do it from a place of abundance and you just kind of confront it head on, a lot of people, well, we don't want to address that because, then it makes us look more expensive. It's going to come up anyway. So just create the stuff, create the tool that adds value. The whole goal here is to be an authority figure. And by explaining things, people start to like you and trust you and look at you as an authority figure. Like, just think about this. If somebody came, they saw that you were $20,000 more expensive. You gave them this free thing. They asked the cheaper contractor all of these things and realized, oh, you're offering a lot more, right? Guess who they're going to come back to, and guess who they're going to happily pay full price for? You, because you just helped them. You just avoided them a headache, and you didn't even do it to sell them anything. You just did it to be nice. So when you're creating content, when you're building out your systems, when you're building your brand, never be afraid to lean into these things because there's so much upside to it. By addressing these objections and addressing these conflicts head on, you can be the expert and people start to trust you a lot more.